Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of EVgo, ticker symbol EVGO. And so I wanted to cover this stock because I had noticed that yesterday, December 5th, the price dropped by nearly 10%. So I thought it'd be an interesting one to cover. And then today on December 6th, price did go up by nearly 1% relative to yesterday's close. But if you notice, it is an inverted hammer, which is a bearish sign. Before I speculate on that, I'm just going to throw up some lines that I've drawn that actually might support that stance on the bearish inverted hammer. And so the first thing that you'll notice is these two purple lines, one on the RSI, which shows lower highs having been formed, whereas with the price, really just based on the candle from November 15th and from December 4th, the wicks from those days forming higher highs. And so that is bearish divergence when the RSI highs get lower and the stock price highs get higher. So I think that's pretty interesting. Also, it does look like price is trading in an uptrending channel. Those tend to break to the downside. And in order to illustrate that, I did use the channel tool, which fits to the candles based on a standard deviation. I could have done that with parallel lines, but even if I just remove all of the drawings, you can see that higher highs were formed while higher lows were formed. So that is in uptrending channel. Also, I want to point out that when the price did gap up in getting into this channel, the close of that day, November 15th, was $3.31, marked by this yellow line. There were actually two closes above that line, one being this green candle on December 1st, going up just over 8% on the day. But then the day following that, you had this wick up, creating a topping tail and getting an inverted candle on that day, an inverted hammer. And so that was a bearish sign. And then we saw this nearly 10% drop. And so in order to negate that topping tail, what we would want to see is a close above the high on that day, which would be at $3.51. We have, since that day, the 4th, just had red days, days that trend down. And so I don't think that is a great sign. Also, I do want to point out the close on November 28th, which was, $2.91, marked in red there. And so I do think that that is a key level. We do not want to see a close below that line. And if there is a close below it, that could suggest that, these bearish signs are playing out and the price could drop down, perhaps returning to all-time lows at $1.88. But, of course, I could be wrong. Just scaling back, there's plenty of upside potential for the stock. Analysts actually expect the price to be higher, even those who say hold and are not as bullish as those saying buy. But zooming back in on the recent price action, this pattern also reminds me of something familiar with a higher high being formed like this. It does remind me of the Bitcoin chart where in the month of May 2021, the highest high was reached, then this dropped down, and then a new high was formed in November of that year. But that was actually a bearish sign with this topping tail for that month. And then we saw this big decline before the rise up now to around 44,000. So I think that's pretty interesting. I was actually expecting this chart to suggest bullish movement, given that, there had been this rise. I thought there might be a bull flag forming. But most of the signs that I've, demonstrated here suggests that it's looking bearish. But, of course, I could be wrong. It could go much higher. But I do think if it is to play out in a bearish scenario, I think closing below $2.91, which would also coincide with this channel if I were to extend it to the right. And so perhaps on December 12th, if we do see, where these lines converge, if we do see a close below 291, that could be bad news for the stock, possibly dropping down to maybe fill this gap or maybe to make all-time new lows. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you like it, share your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.